Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Libra, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of February. I hope you will. Get to hear the birds from the other side because it's dawn here. We'll try and get in and get this done early. And I will close the window in a moment when the cauldron's burned down. So, do I have anything to tell you? We are in Mercury retrograde at the moment, and that will be continuing on for most of February. And Venus retrograde is still going on now. Another few days of that, but there will be a shadow period once it stations direct, as the power is starting to wind down, power of the retrograde at least anyway, so something to be aware of. There will be an extended at the end of this if it resonates with you, and it's freezing, and that's why I'm wrapped in a blanket. So anyway, swear to God. I have 3 cards for Libra, please. We have the Empress in your recent past. Thank you. We have the 7 of Wands in your current energy. It's coming towards Libra for February, please. I wanted to come out. We've got the 4 of Swords. I like that. Oh, right. And I like that because the 7 of Wands is a card of being defensive and guarded, whether or not you need to, and we'll look at the clarifiers to see whether that's a necessary state at the moment. But it seems like you're moving into a more peaceful period, which is nice. Let's see which. It's interesting that Tarot Mucha is the one that wants to be used for the clarifiers, because this is one that I tend to use for relationships more than anything else. So it could be that the relationships are the thing that are giving you the bit of strife at the moment. But let's see. I'll not prejudge anything before it comes out. So tell me about the Empress, please. What's the Empress here for you? Thank you. We have the 9 of Swords. Thank you. And we have the 7 of Swords. And we have the 6 of Cups. For some of you, this likely is a relationship that you have with your children, possibly with your parents. The Empress card is one that I read as Taurus specifically, but it is associated with Libra too, and it would be remiss of me not to mention that. Let's have a look at the 7 of Wands. And I'll explain why I've said what I just said in a second. How about the 7 of Wands? Thank you. We've got the 9 of Wands there. Very fitting. The 7 of Wands. Thank you. Ooh, whole glut of cards. We have the 8 of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the King of Cups. Let's pop that back in there. Tell me about this 4 of Swords, please. Thank you. We have the King of Wands. The 3 of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, and the 9 of Cups. Right, this is, there's the Empress at the bottom of the deck there as well. This feels like something kind of shaking free of a foundation and coming to the surface so that it can be dealt with, right? I noticed that we've got 3 9s on the table before I even start. And for me, those are the cards of the individual, right? So this is about you and potentially an opportunity for growth. But there are lots of strong feelings here. I'm seeing it. There's a lot of people here too. It's all about relationships for you at the moment. And like I said, it's maybe the last bit of Venus retrograde, just like really shaking something free. Because the idea of what that retrograde energy is about is how you manage your day-to-day relationships. So, right, the people that are around you and that are important to you, how it is that you navigate through that. And where there is tension, and often, an unspoken tension, where there is, I don't know, feelings of resentment sometimes, and that kind of thing. This energy gives you an opportunity to kind of address that and fix it moving forwards, either because you want this person in your life but you want it in a, you know, in a more meaningful kind of way, or when actually it's time to kind of move away from them. Obviously, if this is to do with your children or to do with the relationship with your parents, then that's something different. But this is a very strong presentation of your energy here. If we read this Justice card, that's the other Libra card, right? If we read this Empress card as being here for you. So, like I said, it's the card that's underpinning here. Yeah, we've got the Ace of Cups sitting behind that. Look at those two there. But at the bottom of the other deck, we've got the Five of Pentacles here. Someone is feeling like this relationship isn't giving them everything that they need, whether that is you or whether that is somebody else, because this could be somebody coming to you with this energy, or it could be you going to somebody else with this energy, being all like, look, we need to sort this out, because that's what I'm seeing here. That's what the progression of the cards is talking about. So, like I said, there you are. Empress energy. The Empress is the archetypal mother, which is why I said it could be an issue with your parents, specifically your mother. Or it could be an issue with your children, but it could just be relationships altogether. The Empress is a card of great abundance and a sense of gratitude, but it's also kind of got that matriarchal feel about it, you know. The cards that we've got under here, though, Nine of Swords, Seven of Swords, and the Six of Cups. Now, the Nine of Swords is a card of, it's kind of like mental distress, really, you know. It covers everything from being slightly worried about something up to, you know, clinical depression and mental illness. It certainly speaks of great anxiety about something. And when we look to see what it is that the anxiety is involved around, what terrible phrasing, what it involves, or what it circles around, we have the Six of Cups. Now, that is a card of the past. Now, that could be your past, that could be somebody else's past. It could be children, or it could be childhood. And with the Seven of Swords here, this is a card that indicates either risk or, in some ways, deceit. Now, you know, this could be straight up somebody lying to you about something, and that would absolutely be covered by this card, but it can also be the ways that we deceive ourselves about something. So what we've got here is a state of some anxiety around the past or around other children, your children, or the fact that you know, the person that this involves is someone that you relate to as a child, as it were. And then we have this either risky behaviour or a level of deceit from someone else or towards your self. Let's get some. Tell me about the Seven of Swords, please. We've got the Hanged Man in reverse, and we've also got the Two of Wands in reverse. This is a state of indecision. This is like not really knowing what to do about something, but feeling driven to do something. The Hanged Man in its upright is a very passive state. It's a state of acceptance and kind of just allowing things to be as they are, right? Hanging yourself upside down from a tree to gain new perspective. The Hanged Man in reverse is about moving away from that, you know, actually movement of any sort. Hanging yourself off a tree, no longer being what you feel to be right. And so it feels like perhaps there is a risk involved with approaching someone about something, or it could be somebody else's risky behaviour that you have been concerned about, you know. Either way, the fact that the Hangman is in reverse is that there's a desire to move, there's a desire to do something, to be of assistance, actually, probably in some way or another, but not knowing how it is that you would be able to do that, because this is a crossroads energy. And when we approach a crossroads energy, it's like it's decision time. We go one way or we go the other. But with the Two of Wands, it's not about the movement. It's about thinking, feeling your way through what the consequences of going in either direction would be. It's quite, you know, it's a mentally active card, is what we're saying, but it's very internal. There's no outward movement of this here. This would be a very clear set of directions that you could go in. so that you can walk through the consequences of it. It being in the reverse makes it altogether a muddier affair. So it's like you don't really know what to do, but is driven to do something. Yeah? So when we move into your current energy, we've got that Seven of Wands. And like I said, that's a very guarded energy. It's a state of being under attack. We've got this chap here, he's kind of planted himself here on the waterfall. Very much planted in his emotion at this time, fighting off these invisible assailants. You see the ones at the bottom of the card there. I don't know how well they're showing up, but they're there, right? It's being in a state of feeling like you need to protect yourself. And the cards that come out underneath here are this Nine of Wands and Eight of Wands, then the Page of Wands and the King of Cups. Now, the Nine of Wands, all of these are Sagittarian cards, interesting. 7, 8 and 9 of Wands, all very Sagittarian. But the Nine of Wands is resilience. It's good boundaries sometimes too, but it talks about, the Eight of Wands specifically talks about communication of sorts, or momentum building towards something, because these wands are coming into land very, very soon, right? Tell me about the Nine of Wands and the Eight of Wands. Yeah. We've got the Ten of Cups and we've got the Chariot under here. Now, got the Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and together with the Ten of Wands, oh, there's the Six of Cups peeking out from behind there, right? The emphasis is very strongly on family at this time, or at least the collective well-being of more than just you, right? It's when you've got the Ten of Pentacles, it's more than just you. It is the people who are important to you. It's the people that you spend your time with, you know? It's just that the Devil card is the wrong way around, isn't it? I'll just pop that there, Capricorn energy of the Devil. But this Chariot card here is a card of great determination. And together with the Nine of Wands, which is a card of resilience, and this Eight of Wands, which is a card of potential momentum coming through here, we've got a situation where you're dealing with somebody who you care very deeply about. We've got the King of Cups there, might even be a Scorpio, right? And we've got the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is usually associated with great excitement about doing something. So it's a bit of a frisson when I see the Page of Wands. A bit of a thrill. But this one looks quite concerned. There. And in the background there's a volcano erupting, and it feels a little bit like you are prepared for some sort of showdown, which is interesting. But it feels like it's one that you feel really has to happen. Like I said, this is very Venus retrograde kind of energy, when you've got lots of strong feelings, but something cannot continue the way that it has been going. Like some sort of change needs to be instituted here. And what you're hoping for, you know, what is the, well, there you go. What you're hoping for is resolution. We've got this card here that speaks about compassion and forgiveness, but it's a clarifying of the well, you know, it's allowing the water to flow again properly. And then we have the Sun card, which is a card of joy, right? It's a card of vulnerability and all sorts of other things too. And because it's a Leo card, it is associated again with children. But there's a desire to make things right, because somehow the train has managed to rattle off the tracks, you know. And so there's this anticipation. Nervous energy, actually, is what it feels like here. So I noticed that these cards are kind of, there's no clear progression from the 7 through to the 9. We've got the 7 and then the 9 and then the 8, and then we've got a 10 over here, and we've got this Page who's looking pretty worried over here, but we've got this King of Cups who is, you know, full of active emotional energy. There's a desire here to fix the situation, whatever it is, but also an understanding that this could potentially backfire in some sort of way. Tell me about the 7 of Wands again, please. 7 of Wands. Got the Star. Aquarius energy. And we've got the 8 of Wands again. here. Like, I think this Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, this is something that you've been skirting around for a while, and for whatever reason you've just not been able to tackle it head on, but now it seems like the situation needs you to tackle it straight on, head on. You know, there's a... If you dig a little deeper in here, Libra, there's this sense that you have something to say and you've held it back for quite long enough. And now the fact that you haven't said it is starting to eat into your sense of who you are. Possibly, you know, there's a level of integrity here that you do not feel like you are exercising because you have not said this thing up until this point. So there's this big energy building, right, of kind of needing to sit someone or maybe several people down and have this conversation, which is uncomfortable. It is awkward, but it's coming from a very loving place, and it's coming from a desire to be able to increase the levels of harmony between you and this other person, or you and a collective of people. It's coming from the best possible place, and the energies suggest that with this King of Cups here, that there is a way for you to be heard in this. But I feel the anxiety. Well, I'm going to actually start to feel it build here. But what you're clinging to is the hope that some of your words may land, which is a good thing, because it feels like this is eating you up a little bit, Libra. So when we move into February and what that holds for you, we have the Four of Swords, and this is a good card because this is a card of peace. It can be a card of making your peace with something. So it doesn't necessarily follow that what you are trying to do gets the outcome that you want, but you can't control other people and you can't make them see what you're trying to show them if they are willingly, and it feels like they're kind of willingly, at least some of them, not paying attention to it. Underneath here we have the King of Wands, we have the Three of Swords, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and we have the Nine of Cups. And I can see this going both ways, actually, if I am honest, because like I said, there's either coming to a peace, making peace with a situation, or there is making peace with a person. And you know, depending on who it is and depending on how many people it is, certainly for each of you, this may well play out differently. But we have the King of Wands here. That is a card of taking action, right? So your act is the making of peace here, whether it's with yourself or with another person. But I'm interested that we see this Three of Swords here, because I feel like there are wounds that are being exposed, that you're being given an opportunity to heal here. Whether those wounds are yours or whether there's a surprise kind of revelation from someone else where they show you how wounded they are. You know, it's kind of like, well, shit, that's not what I expected. And we've got this Queen of Pentacles, Capricorn energy, and the Nine of Cups after here. So like I said, I can see how it goes both ways, because with the presence of the Queen of Pentacles, it's talking about you taking your energy and doing what is right for you. And for some of you, that is going to be moving away from this person. It's going to be cutting ties. Together with the Nine of Cups, it's kind of like you managing your own emotional well-being about this. You know, I'm going to pull another couple of clarifiers. Oh, excuse me. Sometimes the nose tickliness just gets a little bit too much. Tell me about this Three of Swords, please. We have the Four of Pentacles, and we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. That's an interesting coupling there. So, we've got the Seven of Wands in reverse at the bottom of the deck. That's nice, because where you were feeling defensive and guarded, you don't feel it anymore. But for what reason? Is it because this person won't engage with you, or these people won't engage with you anymore on this, and you have to physically make your peace with this to stop carrying it around? Or is it because you do actually get somewhere? Like I said, honestly, Libra, it seems like it goes either way for you here. But we've got the Four of Pentacles here, which is a card of holding on to something too tight, right? Somebody is holding on to old wounds too tight, whether it's you or whether it's somebody else. And then we've got the Queen of Wands in reverse. The Queen of Wands is dynamic and confident. You know, she's willing to take charge of things. She does take charge of things. And she's also willing to be seen. It's an interesting card to speak of not being seen, you know. I would rather have seen the moon or something like that. Because together with the Magician, there, it's kind of a sticky pairing. The Magician with any court card should always give you pause for thought anyway, because of the abilities of the Magician to be able to manipulate, right? And so then when you get a court card that's turning up in the reverse, it's kind of like the shadow aspects of that particular thing. So, you know, one might say that there's a potential for ego here, and it doesn't feel like yours ego to be driving this moving forwards. Somebody who's holding on to a very, very brittle ego, but not prepared to do anything to shift that. Now remember that the King of Wands came up for you. There is the active element of the fire energy, right? There's the doing. But we want the Queen of Wands to be in the upright, really, for it to be a good pairing. This person seems to be all ego and very little action, you know? And with the Magician card and the Four of Pentacles, perhaps there is an unwillingness to release that ego, to process any of the things that you have to say, and you know, receive them in the way that they are meant, because everything is coming from you, from, you know, Empress energy, it's coming from King of Cups energy. And it seems like perhaps in order to give yourself the time to heal, it's about taking a break from this here with the Four of Swords. Follows on naturally from the Three of Swords, but it is about kind of pulling back. That's how the peace occurs, so it gives you the time to process what's gone on. Tell me about the Queen of Cups and the Nine of Cups. Got the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. It's interesting. There you are at the bottom of the deck. There's the Libra card right there. The Eight of Swords is sitting behind it. I feel like you are trying to bring justice to a situation, and you are bringing emotion to the situation. Emotion and action, right? It feels to me like it's the other person here who's putting up a bit of a wall. Like I said right at the beginning, you've got loads of characters here. Everybody's got something to say. You're the Queen of Swords, but she's got her back to the King of Swords here. The King of Swords feels abrupt and abrasive. And the turning, 90 degrees seems to be something that you need to do to protect yourself as an act of self-care, and concentrating on the things that make you happy rather than fixing the things that don't at this point. It may be that this person has a point, but they feel like a dog with a bone over it. They won't let it go. They won't let it go at all, because their ego is wrapped up on them not conceding your point. This is very interesting, Libra. Either way, the good news for you is that February is more peaceful. Whether it's because you get the result that you want or not, it's difficult to say. The way that the cards are looking here, I would imagine that it's going to be different for each of you. But this is something that definitely warrants further exploration. So I am going to go over to Vimeo now. And if you would like to join me over there, I would love to see you. And we're going to pull this apart a little bit more, see if we can get some more detail for February specifically. But where you are feeling kind of angst-ridden, full of anxiety. That is passing in the month of February, so that is something that's quite positive in and of itself. Whether or not you get the result that you're after, your ability to be able to make peace with it and bring a sense of balance to yourself is probably, you know, the more important thing to focus on here. So, like I said, off to Vimeo. And if I don't see you over there, I shall see you for the mid-month readings for February. So know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.